Other Legal Bases Act Number 74. This law was enacted on January 21, 1901 by the Philippine Commission that provided as the following. Number 1. Establishment of the Department of Public Instruction headed by General Superintendent. In 1947, by the virtue of Executive Order Number 94, the Department of Public Instruction was changed to Department of Education. Number 2, the archipelago was divided into school divisions and districts for effective management of school system. It was the started of building district offices, division offices. That's why DepEd today has its district office and division office until now. Number 3, English was made as the medium of instructions in all levels. So it means from elementary up to tertiary, the medium that's going to be used was English. Number 4, optional religious instruction in all school levels. So when we say optional, it means it is available to be chosen but not obligatory. So it means that it's not required or mandatory to teach religious subject. And last, number 5 is the establishment of trade school in Manila, like Philippine College of Arts and Trade or PICAT, but now it's known as TUP or Technological University of the Philippines, a School of Agriculture in Negros, a normal school in Manila or Philippine Normal School. Philippine Normal School was renamed Philippine Normal College or PNC by the virtue of Republic Act Number 416 on June 18, 1949. And PNC or Philippine Normal College was converted to Philippine Normal University on December 26, 1991. It is by the virtue of Republic Act Number 7168. Act Number 2706. This was known as Private School Law, enacted on March 10, 1917 by the Philippine Legislature. This law was amended by Commonwealth Act Number 108, passed on November 13, 1936, provided that the Secretary of Public Instruction was vested with power to supervise, inspect, and regulate schools and colleges in order to determine the efficiency of instruction given the same. So it means that the Secretary of Public Instruction has the right, has the power, or has the authority to supervise and inspect if the schools are properly managed. And also if the teachers or the assistant instructors are maintaining the standards for quality education. And all private schools come under the supervision and regulation of the Secretary of DPI or Department of Public Instruction, thus eliminating diploma mills and substandard schools. Diploma mills means usually unregulated institution of higher education granting degrees with few or no academic requirements. So those schools who issued diplomas with insufficient documents are expelled or removed by the Secretary of DPI. Commonwealth Act Number 1 amended by Republic Act 9163, known as the National Defense Act, passed by the Philippine Assembly on December 21, 1935, which provided in Section 81 that preparatory military training shall be given with the youth in the elementary grade school at the age of 10 years and shall extended through the remainder of his schooling into college or post-secondary education. It means that when a student reaches the age of 10, he or she is preparing for a military training and extended through the remainder of his schooling. An example of this is CAT or Citizens Army Training that is compulsory for 4th-year students. But today, CAT is no longer practiced. By virtue of Presidential Decree 1706 issued by the late President Marcos on August 8, 1980, otherwise known as the National Service Law, Commonwealth Act Number 1 was amended. Under National Service Law, we have the ROTC or Reserve Officers Training Corps. The purpose of ROTC is to prepare students for commissioning as officers in the active Army, Army Reserve, or Army National Guard. Number 2 is the Literacy Training Service. And last, number 3, the Civil Welfare Training Service, or we can call it CWATS. That's why we have a CWATS and ROTC when we are in first year college.
Commonwealth Act Number 80. This law was created the Office of Adult Education on October 26, 1936, so as to eliminate illiteracy and to give vocational and citizenship training to adult citizens of the country.
Commonwealth Act Number 80, they have a rights for elders to receive citizenship and vocational training to cross out illiteracy. Example, indigenous peoples.
Then proceed to the fifth law, Commonwealth Act Number 578, enacted on June 8, 1940, conferred the status of persons in authority upon the teachers, professors, and persons charged with the supervision of public or duly recognized private schools, colleges, and universities. This act also provided a penalty of imprisonment ranging from 6 months and 1 day to 6 years and a fine of ranging from 500 pesos to 1,000 pesos upon any person found guilty of assault upon those teaching personnel.
Commonwealth Act Number 578, it says here that the person in authority, teachers, professors, is need to respect, and if you disrespect them, need to pay 500 pesos to 1,000 pesos and in prison for 6 months to 6 years if you found guilty.
Next, Commonwealth Act Number 586 and repealed by Republic Act Number 896. This is known as Education Act of 1940. It was approved on August 7, 1940 by the Philippine Assembly. The law provided for the following. The first one is reduction of 7-year elementary course to 6 years elementary course. So it means that from the 7 years of elementary course, by the power of this Commonwealth Act Number 586, it was being changed to 6 years elementary course. Second, fixing the school entrance age to 7. So when we say entrance age to 7, it means that when the child reaches the age of 7, you need to enroll that child to school. Because 7 age or age of 7 is the minimum requirement age needed for you to enroll your child. Next, national support of elementary education.
National support on elementary education like funds, books, and others.
The fourth one is compulsory attendance in the primary grades for all children who enroll in grade 1.
Required to attend in classes. It says here, when you enroll your children, they need to go to school always.
Introduction of double single session, one class in the morning and another in the afternoon, under one teacher to accommodate more children.
Double single session. It says here that when the enrollees is too many, need to divide the classes into two, the morning class and the afternoon class.
Commonwealth Act Number 589. This law, approved on August 19, 1940, establishes school ritual in all public and private elementary and secondary in the Philippines. The ritual consists of solemn and patriotic ceremonies that include the singing of national anthem, regional song, school songs or school hymns, and the panunumpa ng katapatan sa watawat ng Pilipinas. Republic Act Number 139, enacted on June 14, 1947, and the Board of Textbooks. This law provided that all public schools must only use books approved by the board for the period of 6 years from the date of their adoption. So it means that there are books provided for the public schools issued by the Board of Textbooks, and all private schools may use books of their choice provided of the Board of Textbooks and has no objections with those books. Republic Act Number 896, enacted on June 20, 1953, and known as the Elementary Education Act of 1953. It was repealed by Commonwealth Act 6 and provided as the following. Restoration of grade 7. But due to lack of funds, grade 7 in elementary has never been implemented. Number 2 is abolition of the double single session and return to the former practice of only one. So, double classes are under Commonwealth Act Number 586, but in this law, double single session was abolished and returned to the former practice of only one. Number 3, class under one teacher in the primary and 3 teachers to 2 classes or 5 teachers to 3 classes in the intermediate grades. That is what we call the multi-grade teaching. For example, one teacher is teaching 2 to 3 grades or classes. Number 4 is compulsory completion of the elementary grades. So once you enrolled or enter in a particular school, you should finish it until the last, and that is grade 6. And the last is compulsory enrollment of children in the public schools upon attaining the 7 years of age. So, once the children reaches the age of 7, he or she should enroll to a public schools.
Republic Act Number 1124, and it was repealed by the Republic Act Number 7722. Approved on June 16, 1954, this law was created the Board of National Education, charged with the duty of formulating general educational policy and directing the educational interests of the nation. However, this board, which was later renamed National Board of Education by the Presidential Decree Number 1, was abolished by the virtue of the creation of the Board of Higher Education as stipulated in Batas Pambansa Bilang 232. The board's function is now assumed by the Commission on Higher Education or CHED by the virtue of Republic Act Number 7722.
This Republic Act Number 1124, the Board of National Education, charged with the duty of formulating general education policies and directing the educational interests of the nation. But it was repealed by RA number 7722 on July 26, 1993 of the Philippine Congress.
In accordance to this, here's the Republic Act Number 7722, an act creating the Commission on Higher Education, appropriating funds thereof and for other purposes. Section 3. The creation of the Commission on Higher Education. In pursuance to the above-mentioned policies, the Commission on Higher Education is hereby created, hereinafter referred to as the Commission. The Commission shall be independent and separate from the DepEd or the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports, and attached to the Office of the President for administrative purposes only. Its coverage shall be both public and private institutions of higher education as well as degree grading programs in all post-secondary educational institutions, public and private.
From Board of National Education to Commission on Higher Education, it was created for appropriating funds, therefore, and for other purposes.
The next law is Republic Act Number 1265, and it was amended by the Republic Act Number 8491. This law was approved on June 11, 1955, and provided that a daily flag ceremony shall be compulsory on all educational institutions. This includes the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
And now we will proceed to the Republic Act Number 1265, amended by RA Number 8491, an act prescribing the code of national flag, sing the national anthem, motto, coat of arms, and other heraldic items and devices of the Philippines. The purpose of this is to show respect the ideals and tradition which express the principles of sovereignty and national solidarity.
In addition to this, here's the Republic Act Number 8491, an act prescribing the code of the national flag, anthem, motto, coat of arms, and other heraldic items and devices of the Philippines. Section 8. All government agencies and instrumentalities and local government offices government-owned corporations and local government units are enjoined to observe Flag Day with appropriate ceremonies. Socio-civic groups, non-government organizations, and the private sector are exhorted to cooperate in making the celebrations a success. Republic Act Number 1412. It was approved on June 12, 1956. It prescribed the inclusion in the curricula of all schools, both public and private, from elementary schools to the universities, the life and works and writings of Jose Rizal, especially the Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo.
The Republic Act Number 1425, an act to include in the curricula of all public and private schools, colleges, and universities courses on the life, works, and writings of Jose Rizal, particularly his novels Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, authorizing the printing and distribution thereof and for other purposes. The purpose why we need to study this is to meet and honoring the national hero Dr. Jose Rizal. Other than that, to remember his special fondness and devotion of his lives and works that have shaped the national character.
Next, Republic Act Number 4670, or also known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. This was approved on June 18, 1966 to promote and improve the social and economic status of public school teachers, their living and working conditions, their employment and career prospects.
So now let's proceed to the Republic Act Number 4670, or the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. So the first one is the Recruitment of Qualifications for Teachers. So for teachers in kindergarten and elementary grades, bachelor's degree in elementary education is needed. For the secondary school, bachelor's degree in education or equivalent with a major or minor, or a bachelor's degree in arts and science with at least 18 professional units in education. While for the teachers of secondary, vocational, and 2 years technical courses, bachelor's degree in the field of specialization with at least 18 professional units of education. For the teachers of courses on the collegiate level, other than vocational, master's degree with a separate area of specialization. So the next one is the Code of Conduct. When you say Code of Conduct, it means that every teacher shall uphold the highest possible standard of quality education and shall make the best preparation for the career of teaching and shall be at his best at all times and in the practice of his profession. So the next one is 6 hours of teaching in classroom. So it means that any teacher engaged in actual classroom instruction shall not be required to render more than 6 hours of classroom teaching, which shall be scheduled as to give him time for the preparation and correction exercises or correction of exercises and other work incidental to his normal teaching duties. Provided, however, that were the exigencies of the service so required, any teacher may be required to render more than 6 hours but not exceeding to 8 hours of actual teaching a day upon payment of compensation at the same rate as his regular remuneration plus at least 25% of his basic pay. So the next one is 25% of their regular remuneration. So it is the compensation given to them. Just like what I discussed a while ago, the teachers are being paid another 25% of their regular remuneration whenever they render other duties and responsibilities that is out or outside their signed contract or appointment. They shall receive as mandated by law at least 25% of their regular remuneration. So the next one is the benefits or health and medical benefits through GSIS. Compulsory medical examination shall be provided free of charges for all the teachers before they take up teaching and shall be repeated not less than 1 year during the teacher's professional life. Where medical examination the medical examination showed that medical treatment and or hospitalization is necessary, same shall be provided free by the government entity paying the salary of the teachers and can be qualified for the application of health and medical benefits through GSIS. So the next one is the teachers are entitled to study leave of 1 year or not less than 1 year after they render 7 years of service. And they are also entitled to receive 60% of their monthly salary on the period of their leave. So next is salary increase upon retirement. It means that public school teachers having fulfilled the age and service requirement of the applicable requirement laws shall be given at least one range salary increase or raise upon retirement, which shall be given or shall be the basis of the computation of the lump sum of the retirement pay and the monthly benefits thereafter. So lastly, freedom to form organizations. So, public school teachers have the right to freely and without previous authorization both to establish and join organizations of their choosing, whether local or national, to further and defend their interests.
The next one is Republic Act Number 1079, approved on June 15, 1959. It provided that civil service eligibility shall be permanent and shall have no time limit.
Republic Act Number 1079, the Act modifies the present civil service regulations which makes one's eligibility lapse after 2 years of unemployment from the date of passing the examination or extension of 2 years from every 1 year of service in the government.
The next one is Republic Act Number 6655, also known as the Pre-Public Secondary Education Act of 1988. It was approved on May 26, 1988 and provided the following. The first one is free public secondary education to all qualified citizens and promote quality education at all levels.
The education must receive the highest budgetary priority and ensures teaching will attract and retain the rightful shares of the best available talents considering job satisfaction and fulfillment.
No tuition or other fees shall be collected except fees related to membership in school communities such ID, students' organization, and publication.
Free public secondary education. No tuition except other fees like ID.
Non-payment of this shall not hinder a student from enrollment or graduation. Nationalization of all public secondary schools. To effectively implement the system, the establishment, renaming, conversion, integration, separation, administration, supervision, and control of all public secondary schools and public secondary school teachers and other school personnel, including the payment of their salaries, allowances, and other fringe benefits as well as those already provided by local government are hereby vested in the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports.
All public secondary schools are under DepEd.
And lastly, a student who fails in majority of his academic subject for 2 consecutive years could no longer avail of their program.